Mississippi is breaking new ground for business at a historic pace. Amazon, XAI, Toyota, Milwaukee Tool, and GE Aerospace have all tapped into our deep talent pool, prime geographic location, and welcoming communities. This is bigger than megasites. Mississippi offers a thriving business ecosystem with affordability, greater collaboration with energy partners, and record-breaking speed to market. Looking to expand? Break new ground at Mississippi.org.
A new school year means a fresh start. For families that are looking for a new path to help their child succeed, K-12 could be the perfect fit. K-12 powered schools offer tuition-free, accredited, online public education for students in kindergarten through 12th grade. They know learning isn't one size fits all and will meet your child where they are. K-12 has been a leader in online education for over 25 years. They provide everything a student needs to feel safe, motivated, and thrive in their learning environment. With flexible education options tailored to each child's needs, interests, and goals for the future. K-12's dedicated teachers are trained in virtual instruction and provide real-time support. Plus, students will belong to a vibrant online community with opportunities for extracurricular activities to help them connect with peers and explore interests, all in a setting that works for your family. See how K-12 powered schools can help unlock your child's full potential. Enroll online today at k12.com/FWD. That's the letter K, the number 12.com/FWD. K12.com/FWD.
Yay Media Group.
Welcome to A Sandwich and Some Lovin'. I'm Kellie Raspberry Evans, and hey, it's just you and me, babe. Got the whole podcast to ourselves. So pull up I swear all I'm drinking is a Milo's iced tea. I didn't even spike it with anything. It's just me, a little tongue-tied. I guess because I'm in unfamiliar territory talking to you by myself. But it's going to be a good one because Alan is unfortunately very, very busy. We got a lot going on this week. So I said, you know what, babe, I got this. And what I'm going to do with this time, this precious time I have with you on A Sandwich and Some Lovin' is to talk about something that Alan isn't really keeping up with, doesn't care as much about as I do, and that's celebrity gossip. Not just gossip, but celebrity lawsuits. And by that, I mean the lawsuit to end all lawsuits. Now, before now, it was Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, but that one has been overshadowed by the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni lawsuit. Y'all, I have been watching this with bated breath for months now, and I'm so excited I finally get to talk to you about it. So hopefully you're as intrigued as I am. Maybe like Alan, you've just kind of like, yeah, you know, there's something going on. You haven't really kept up. I'm really curious if this ever does make it to court. Now, it's supposed to go to trial finally in March of next year. I highly doubt it. But unlike the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, I don't think this one will be televised. That's why we all got so involved in the last one, right, with Depp and Heard, because we could see everything. And then even if you weren't watching live, you saw it all got picked apart on Court TV. Hey, we started watching Court TV. I didn't know how to find it until that lawsuit was going on. But I think because this one with Blake and Justin, listen, I'm not a legal mind, but I think the reason this one cannot be testified is because it's federal. It's a federal lawsuit. So that's unfortunate that we won't get to see it if it does ever make it to court, which I highly doubt it will because, I just think it's going to be settled out of court. But if you haven't been keeping up at all, well, let me just start from sort of the beginning. So there was a book called It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. She's actually based in Texas, and I found out before all this drama that she listens to the Kid Craddock morning show. So that was really exciting when I found that out, and that she follows us on social media. I was a little starstruck by that because I think that's just awesome. I've read several of Colleen Hoover's books. Now, I have not read It Ends With Us. I started reading her books, I think, before all this drama. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But the book, It Ends With Us, it's about, I think it's loosely based on Colleen's experiences growing up, her childhood, what she observed. I want to say it's her mom. Please don't hold me to that. I'm not 100% sure. But it's about a woman who dealt with being abused and overcoming it and going on to thrive in a better relationship. So that's the book. And a long time ago, Justin Baldoni reached out to Colleen. He's like, I really want to be the one to bring this book to the movie theaters. I think it's such an important message about, women, who are the victims of sexual assault. I mean, not sexual, physical assault, physical violence, how they can overcome it. And, it's just such a powerful message. And Colleen fell in love with him and said, yes, you're the person that can tell my story. My biggest fear is that this will be turned into some rom-com, and that's not it. This is a story about, female empowerment. That's the story she wanted to share. And Justin said, I'm your guy. Because his whole message basically is in life is about toxic masculinity and how men need to do better and how they treat women. And I think one of those would be not sexually harassing women. That would be one of the first things you do as a man combating toxic masculinity, is not making women uncomfortable in workplace situations. And then, taking that even further into sexual harassment. So that's why he was the guy to help her get this message out. So anyway, just a little peek behind the kimono, as my husband Alan likes to say. When this movie was remember a lot has been made about that book convention that Colleen Hoover has in Grapevine, Texas. They were coming out with the cast. They were going to have the cast of It Ends With Us at the book fair. And then they were going to do this huge screening at the Cinemark in Grapevine. And they asked me if I would be willing to go and sort of take the cast and Colleen around to each theater. I don't remember, it was like 8 theaters or something. And they were, to a packed theater, and I would introduce them to each audience and then leave them to watch the movie. And they were going to pay me, a little bit of money. It wasn't like life-changing money. It was a nice little check, but they wanted me to be there at like 10 o'clock at night. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So I didn't do it. Now I'm kind of regretting it. I'm wondering if I could have picked up on some, tension or drama at the time. But at the time, we didn't know what was going on really with all this. This all came to light later. But we later found out that Justin was excluded from that screening because of all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes. So let's just go. So in December, we found out, so the movie premiered on August 9th. Rumors about there being problems between Justin and everybody on the set because basically they weren't doing any press with him promoting the movie. He was blocked out of that book convention. At the red carpet premiere in New York City, he had to walk the carpet by himself. Nobody would walk with him. We were like, something's going on, but we weren't 100% sure what it was at the time. But then in December, Blake filed a complaint against Justin with the California Civil Rights Department, accusing him of sexual harassment on the set. And he not only starred in that movie, he produced it and directed it. Remember, it was Colleen Hoover. We later found out that said, hey, Justin, you'd be great as the lead, the lead bad guy in this movie. You'd be perfect for it. And he was like, oh, shucks, but ended up, I guess, casting himself. Let's see. Blake also accused Justin and his production company and the PR firm that was working with him of orchestrating the smear campaign against her. Because remember when there were starting to be rumblings that there was problems with Justin and nobody was being around him, suddenly all these old interviews of Blake Lively started popping up where she's being rude to people interviewing her and being dismissive of fans who are complimenting her and just putting her in a very, very bad light. And she's claiming that Justin's PR team orchestrated all of that. But you have to kind of say, well, they didn't alter any of that. That was really you doing those things. But yeah, they were, suddenly popping up, like when the woman congratulated Blake, who had just announced her pregnancy, who had just announced it. It wasn't like the woman was saying, hey, you look big, you must be pregnant. No, the woman was saying, congratulations on your baby bump, because Blake had already announced it. And Blake said, well, congratulations on your bump. Just rude. Anyway, so Blake's team said that y'all did this just to make me look bad. Well, when that complaint in California came out almost simultaneously. Right after that, the New York Times published this long article called "We Can Bury Anyone Inside a Hollywood Smear Machine." And so in it was all of Blake's side of what happened, what she filed in that, California civil rights complaint, going back to like January of that year when they were coming back, I guess, from Christmas break. And they had like this all hands on deck meeting because Justin was called in and he didn't know what was going on, but Blake was there with Ryan Reynolds, and they had this whole list of things that had made her very uncomfortable on the set. And if he didn't agree to sign off on every one of them, she wasn't coming back. And he was like blindsided by it all, but kind of signed everything because he's like, I got to get this movie made. You are going to love Legacy Box. Becoming a parent changes how you look at memories. While we're savoring and saving every moment with our kids, suddenly you start to realize a lot of important memories from our childhood. They're trapped on VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, photo albums, crammed into boxes labeled "Do Not Throw Away" and shoved into an attic. Those are at risk of being destroyed by heat, moisture, disaster, time. And once they're gone, they're gone. That's why you need Legacy Box now. They are the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos. And the process is so simple. They send you a Legacy Box and you fill it up with old VHS tapes, pictures, film reels, slides, DVDs, whatever you've got. Their team in Tennessee carefully digitizes it all by hand. They send you back the originals plus digital files on the cloud or a thumb drive. Ordering a Legacy Box is one of the best things I've done for my family because now instead of just telling my kids about that crazy vacation I took to the mountains when I was a kid, I get to show them and relive it with them. And right now, during Legacy Box's Father's Day sale, you can save big while preserving your family's history. Visit legacybox.com/sandwich to get started today. That's legacybox.com/sandwich. It's the little things that make a big difference in how I feel. Now, for me right now, it's about stretching. I didn't realize how stiff I was until I started doing it. I love when I can stretch a little further than before. It makes me feel refreshed when I'm done. And a little makeup refresh can make all the difference too with Thrive Cosmetics, my go-to clean makeup routine year-round. Now, of course, their brilliant eye brightener and Stella champagne is always in my makeup bag. Actually, I need to reorder more. I'm almost out. But it comes in 32 shades, and the Shenna Mint Green Shimmer looks really fun for summer. Their Empower Matte Precision Lipstick Crayon, it's really amazing. It gives you a beautiful color that lasts without feeling dry. They have 18 buildable shades, and I love the Dusty Rose Kaisa color. I think that's how you pronounce it. But the best part, for every product you buy, Thrive donates products and funds to help communities thrive. So far, they've given over $150 million in products and cash to over 600 giving partners. This is beauty with purpose. Amplify your summer look with Thrive Cosmetics. Go to thrivecosmetics.com/sandwich for an exclusive 20% off your first order. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/sandwich. So anyway, in the complaint, in the article, it gave all these text message exchanges that appeared to show that Justin's team were like, ha, see what we did there? Oh, we're making her look so bad and that kind of thing. And she also claimed that, when people were saying she looked bad because she's telling everybody, put on your florals and grab your girlfriends and come to the movies. It's going to be a great time for you and your girlfriends, girl power, that Justin was going out and making the rest of them look bad by really focusing on the domestic violence messaging. When she's saying that was a direct order from the head movie studio and Justin went rogue and just did that to make us look bad. Okay. So that was basically parts of her complaint, in addition to her saying that he sexually harassed her on set. Like, for instance, there was a slow dancing scene, which they used, they do a lot of flashback scenes in movies, or like when they're showing how people are falling in love. And it's just these like little clips of them, going walking by the lake or laughing and at the ice cream shop and things like that. So there was going to be this dance scene, which didn't have any dialogue. They were just going to be slow dancing. And that was going to be part of their love story, showing how they were falling in love. Okay. Well, Blake thought, because there was no audio in this scene, that audio wasn't running. However, there was audio running and there were microphones going. So Blake claimed that Justin was overstepping, like coming out of character, telling her she smelled so good, and then ran his lips down her neck that wasn't, approved. Well, then Justin, he retaliated by, I shouldn't say retaliated. He defended himself. He said, okay, well, here is all that footage that you are claiming what went wrong. And in it, you can see that she's the one that's encouraging them to talk because she thinks just staring at each other is awkward. She said she and her husband, Ryan, they just talk all the time. And she thinks that Justin and his wife just sitting there in the room staring at each other is weird. And that she apologizes, because he's supposed to be falling in love with her. So if he kind of sniffs her neck and stuff, then that kind of like, oh, I'm intoxicated by your scent. I don't know. They're actors. That she said something about how she apologized that for the way she smelled. She goes, oh, it's my spray tan. And he said, oh, it smells good. So it wasn't anything like this lewd, you smell so good and all that kind of stuff. It was really contradicting what she said. So anyway, that was just like one of the examples of the things in there. So anyway, the New York Times ran this story, and Justin and his team says, look, their writer of that article basically gave us 24 hours to read what they were going to go to press with and then counter every claim. That was impossible. And so the article went to press, and then on December 26th, Justin filed a $250 million libel and false slight invasion of privacy lawsuit against the New York Times, claiming that the text message exchanges that they had posted in there between his publicists were cherry-picked and edited to remove the necessary context, splicing messages together to mislead us. They also gave, like I said, the 24 hours to respond to all these claims. And it looked like that the Times had actually been working on this article for a couple of months at least. So you got to give, Justin's team a little bit more time than that, right? So that was December 26th. Then on New Year's Eve, Blake formalized the details from the complaint in California into a lawsuit she filed in New York. Her attorney said that Blake's decision to speak out resulted in further retaliation and attacks. And because Justin and his associates had violated federal and California law, that's why they were going to be suing now in federal court in New York. So that was New Year's Eve. Well, great timing, right? January 16th of this year, Justin filed a $400 million lawsuit against Blake, against her husband, Ryan, their publicist, Leslie Sloan, on behalf of not just himself, but on behalf of his publicist, Jennifer Abel, and crisis PR specialist, Melissa Nathan, whose texts were doctored in Blake's complaint and lawsuit, against the Wayfair CEO, Jamie Heath, who I believe he's a billionaire. And if Justin Baldoni did not have Jamie Heath on his side, he would not be able to fight this lawsuit. He didn't have the deep pockets that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have. So if he didn't have Jamie, we would probably not be where we are today. And, Justin Baldoni would just be off somewhere trying to pick up the pieces, because his, reputation and career would have been destroyed. Coming out as someone, and you've got, all these accusations of sexual harassment, and it destroyed his, an attempt to destroy his personal and professional reputation, his livelihood. And like I said, Justin launched this website to refute accusations that Blake made. So it's just been, and it's like 160 something pages. It's a lot if you want to take the time to go read it. But basically, I think everything's been hashed out enough in the press. Now, there's been a lot of back and forth filings. There was some guy down in Texas that Blake's team accused of spearheading the social media smear campaign. And now he's like, they dropped the suit against him, and he's turned around and suing them, saying, y'all have cost me business now, saying I'm a bad guy. So there's a lot of stuff going back and forth. But I just wanted to catch you up on the very, very latest if you've been, keeping track. But there's an opinion piece that was written by this lady named Kristen Myers for The Blast. That's a gossip website, but it was posted on Yahoo. I ran this through ChatGPT and said, please summarize this. And they basically spit it out in a paragraph. I said, no, please give me a few more details. I do love ChatGPT for that reason alone, because it does summarize really lengthy articles for me. But I'm just going to read you where it stands as of right now with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and Justin Baldoni, because I've been of the opinion for months now, this is never going to make it to court. This is going to be settled before they get there. I don't know how they're going to get out of it, because Blake, I think, realized there's a lot of speculation that Ryan Reynolds is the one that pushed her to do this. There has been speculation that Blake caught feelings for Justin Baldoni because when Blake and Ryan filmed Green Lantern many years ago, they fell in love on that set when he was married to Scarlett Johansson and she was dating Penn Badgley from Gossip Girl. And they fell in love on that set, and that Ryan was afraid Blake was catching feelings for Justin Baldoni on this set. Now, Justin, a very happily married man. I don't know if any of that's true, but Ryan Reynolds did go above and beyond to destroy Justin Baldoni. He went behind the scenes to the head of the talent agency where they worked and got Justin Baldoni fired. The head of that company admitted as much in a podcast, which you cannot find now because that's been deleted. But the man said, I'm team Blake and Ryan. And just based on what Ryan said, he fired Justin Baldoni without, anything more than just without any proof, just based on Ryan telling him he's a sexual predator. That's what he said. And then Ryan, what else did he do? In Deadpool and Wolverine did an entire scene on this nice pool guy, which everybody knows was based on his feelings about Justin Baldoni. Had the guy this like real wimpy kind of I'm a feminist kind of character that he brutally had killed in the movie. I mean, like brutally had killed. And then the name of that character, Blake thanked that character in the credits for It Ends With Us. So there's a lot of crossover there. Like they were really sticking it to Justin. He was being tormented behind the scenes, and unbeknownst to us, because that was all happening before this lawsuit happened. But anyway, there has been speculation that Ryan pushed Blake into doing this, and she's regretting it because, much like with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, that battle, even if Amber would have prevailed in the courtroom, she lost the battle of the public opinion. And that is very, very valuable because even if they lost in court and the public's still behind you, movie studios might be like, well, okay, we'll let you be in another movie, because they can look past a lot of things as long as they're not too serious of a crimes, I guess. But then again, man, I remember I wouldn't even watch the movie Powder back in the day because I think one of the directors or producers was been like a child molester that served time and got out. I'm like, I'm not even watching that movie because somebody behind the scenes was involved with it. So it does affect people, their ability, to go to a movie and enjoy it. If you know somebody in it's been convicted of a horrible crime, right? So anyway, there was, where was I at? I lost my place. Anyway, there has been speculation that Blake now, I know what I was saying, about the court of public opinion. Blake is obviously losing it. She's losing it big time. And it's based on how she acts and people digging up things that it's being shown now in the unredacted text messages between Justin's PR people. They had nothing to do with this. These are people just coming forward, picking up things. You can make the public mad. They will find anything out on you. That's why I try not to make the public mad. I don't want anybody digging stuff up on me because they can make me look bad. I don't know. But anyway, now it's looking like Blake and Ryan might be reconsidering this lawsuit. How can we get out of it and save face? Now, a lot of people are of the opinion, and I am kind of too, this is just all our opinions. This is nothing based on fact. But if you remember, Blake Lively was filming It Ends With Us. She just had a baby. In fact, a lot of the stuff at the beginning of filming, she was very concerned about getting her baby weight off before they had to film any sex scenes, any partial nudity. That's a lot of stuff they have to, do in the contracts about, I'm going to show this much boob. You can show this much. You can show one butt cheek, but not two butt cheeks. There's all that sort of stuff that goes into the negotiations for sex scenes. Anyway, she was like, I really want to put those scenes off until later in filming so I can, get in really great shape. And Justin was encouraging her, saying, you look great, but I promise you, we're going to make you look so great in this movie. You have nothing to worry about. Anyway, I think, and a lot of other people think too, that she might try to say, I was going through bad postpartum and I wasn't in my right mind. And that might be a way for her to get out of this and save some face if they try to go that route. I don't know. We'll see. But according to this article, like I said, by Kristen Myers, it was for the blast, posted on Yahoo. I ran it through ChatGPT. Here is the summary of why she also believes they might be reconsidering this lawsuit. Okay, she said, Blake and Ryan may be reconsidering their lawsuit against It Ends With Us co-star and director Justin Baldoni amid growing concerns over leaked private information. Lively initially accused Baldoni of sexual harassment on set, while Baldoni's countersuit claims she worked behind the scenes to wrest creative control of the film. See, that's what he was saying the whole time. This is me again talking. He's saying that she insisted on, taking over the wardrobe department after they'd spent all this money, that she went out and did that hideous wardrobe thinking she's some fashionista. After they had done all the music and had already all this stuff done, she came in and said, no, I want my friends to be in the music. And if you don't do what I say, I'm going to have Taylor Swift pull her song Ricochet out of it. So if you don't do what I say, I'm not going to let my friend Taylor be in this movie, the music, calling Taylor one of her dragons, And then also insisted on being in the editing bay and having her edited version screened for audiences against his version being screened in audiences. Even though his version got way higher approval ratings, she stomped her foot and pouted and made sure that her version went through. So anyway, back to this article as processed through ChatGPT. Although Lively was set to take her case to trial in March 2026, recently leaked text messages have cast doubt on her claims, painting a complicated picture of the situation. Some messages include her referring to close friend Taylor Swift as a gorgeous monster and one of her dragons, though those may be the least of her concerns. The real issue, according to her legal team, is the fear that more sensitive details such as security arrangements, personal conversations, and even medical records could be exposed as the trial approaches. See, that's a very big concern. What if she's got a lot of, private conversations with Taylor and other people? And what if she's like texting her doctor about, I don't know, something going on postpartum? I don't know. What are in those text messages? Do we have the right to see them all? Does the court of law? We'll see. Anyway, during a recent hearing, Blake's lawyers expressed concerns that Justin's legal team might use private details to damage her reputation. They even suggested highly sensitive medical information, possibly regarding, quote, profound mental issues, could be leaked to the press. However, it remains unclear whether Blake actually has such issues or if her attorneys were preemptively saying or trying to control the narrative. Ironically, Justin's legal team had not mentioned anything about her mental health until Blake's own attorneys brought it up in court, inadvertently drawing attention to the topic. All right, so maybe that was them planting the seeds, right? Planting the seeds that perhaps there could be profound mental issues that would have impacted her judgment in filing this lawsuit. Perhaps that could be just, planting that seed out there. You can't scroll your phone for more than 30 seconds without seeing somebody talking about GLP-1s. Maybe you've been close to trying them, but you're not a needle person, or maybe you're looking for a natural alternative. Well, let me introduce you to our podcast sponsor, Veracity. Their Metabolism Ignite, it's a natural plant-based GLP-1 alternative that is doctor recommended and clinically proven to help reduce hunger. Just 2 capsules with breakfast every morning. It's all you need. And one of the first things I noticed was I wasn't thinking about food all day, that food noise you always are constantly battling. Metabolism Ignite has no allergens, no caffeine, no negative side effects, and we love that. It's shown to reduce hunger by 85% and clinically proven to help lose an average of 9 pounds in 90 days. We really love that. Look, this stuff is sold out 10 times for a reason. So before it sells out again, make the switch to GLP-1s the natural way. Head to veracityhealth.co and use sandwich for up to 65% off your order. Once again, that's VERACITY health.co for up to 65% off. Make sure you use our promo code SANDWICH so they know we sent you. I don't think I've ever talked about it on this podcast before, but one day I was walking past the windows going upstairs and I noticed this greasy cooking smell. You know what I mean? It turns out it was our blinds. Something about the sun was breaking them down over the years. And who knows how long they were there before we bought our house. We needed new blinds bad, and that's what led me to 3-Day Blinds. I absolutely loved how easy they made the whole process. They send a professionally trained design consultant to your home. It's a free, no obligation, same-day quote. And they've got thousands of options to fit any budget and style. It's not just blinds. They've got shades, shutters, drapery too.
3-Day Blinds even has those motorized smart blinds that work with Alexa. Those are so cool. They take all the measurements, they handle the installation too, and it's perfect because I'm not handy. And what a difference it's made. This is an upgrade that makes your whole house feel refreshed and polished without having to do a big renovation. Right now, get quality window treatments that fit your budget with 3-Day Blinds. Head to 3dayblinds.com/sandwich for their buy one, get one 50% off deal on custom blinds, shades, and drapery. For a free, no charge, no obligation consultation, just head to dayblinds.com/sandwich. One last time, that's buy one, get one 50% off when you head to the number 3, dayblinds.com/sandwich.
All right, so moving on. Baldoni's legal team, I always feel weird saying their last names, but that's how it's written. So if I bounce back and forth between first and last names, please forgive me. Baldoni's legal team strongly denied any intention to leak personal information, calling the accusations offensive and dismissing Lively's claims as a ruse. They also pointed out that Lively had already leaked Baldoni's addresses in court filings, raising questions about her selective concerns over privacy. Additionally, Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, the one that was doing all the rounds until the judge kind of slapped him on the wrist and said, you might want to temper it a little bit, buddy. Anyway, he argued that Lively and Reynolds, that's Blake and Ryan, were seeking special treatment due to their celebrity status, stating somehow there's a different law that applies to them that otherwise wouldn't apply to normal everyday people. Adding to the attention, Blake's legal team claims that Justin has an unlimited budget and has committed $100 million to ruin the lives of Lively and her family, an allegation many find hard to believe given Baldoni's relative obscurity before the lawsuit. Well, see, that's why, who committed the $100 million? Was it him? Was it his buddy? The CEO, his good friend that is actually the billionaire who's like, hey, my reputation is on the line here too. And, you know, you could argue that Blake and Ryan have almost an unlimited budget. Would they be willing to go to the line with $100 million to defend themselves at this point? Probably. Anyway, Blake's attorneys are also seeking an attorney's eyes only order to prevent Justin's team from accessing certain information, claiming it could cause irreparable harm to her and her husband, Ryan Reynolds. Now, the situation remains a legal and PR battle, both sides accusing the other of misconduct. Blake has expressed concern the case has traumatized her 4 children, who range in age from 2 to 9. See, now this is what I don't understand. Is it traumatized? Okay. Would the trauma come from them hearing about it in the press? I think you could shield children that young from the press. However, if mommy is, like she claims, we've heard that she can't get out of bed for days because she's so upset. That could be traumatic to the children when they see their mom so upset and the energy in the house. That could be very traumatic for children. So I will give her that. But I don't think that they're reading websites, and I think they're probably shielded from what is actually going on with Justin, the bad man. But probably just, you know, the energy in the house is probably traumatizing for them, I would guess. Let's see. Lively's expressed concern the case has traumatized her 4 children, ranging from 2 to 9. But Justin, he also has children who are aware of the controversy surrounding their father. Critics argue that if Lively is truly worried about private details leaking, she should consider settling the case before it further spirals out of control. But ultimately, this battle doesn't just affect the courtroom. It's playing out in the court of public opinion. And for Lively, the question remains, does she fight to the bitter end, or does she walk away before more damage is done? And as you can see, y'all, I don't know if you saw any of the videos or the photos or the red carpet, anything from South by Southwest this past weekend. But the movie, oh my gosh, I just went blank. What is it with Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively? Simple Favor. It's a Simple Favor 2, another Simple Favor. That's it. I think it's a straight to Netflix release. I'm not sure. It might be Amazon, but I think it's Netflix. They had the premiere at South by Southwest. If looks and body language could kill, Anna Kendrick, it's quite obvious, cannot stand Blake Lively. That is very evident. Now, in the original movie, I haven't seen this one because I don't think it's even streaming yet, but in the original A Simple Favor, there was a love-hate relationship. Like Anna Kendrick was attracted to Blake Lively's character because she was so sexy and sassy and kind of twisted and dark, and she was attracted to that in some way. And I wonder but ended up kind of basically hating her. And I'm wondering if there was some real life hatred going on in the filming, because when somebody asked Anna what it was like to film with Blake on the Simple Favor remake, or part 2, she was like, well, and didn't say anything. And when somebody else tried to ask her about how what's going on was affecting, the release of this movie, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What's going on in the world? Okay, thank you. Enjoy the movie. Bye. And was just kind of avoiding the controversy altogether. So it might not be the fact so much that she resents Blake as a person, but she resents her for the negative attention that's now brought to her movie, who, she depends on its success too. And now she's having to field all these questions. I'd be a little bit resentful if my coworker did something that suddenly now everybody's asking me all this crap about it. I'm like, I wasn't even on that movie. Why are you asking me? Why, I would be upset too. But her body language, there was one scene when Blake is in front of the audience. You could tell she's got a lot of nervous energy because she's trying to project, I'm good. I feel good. I'm happy to be here. I'm laughing, having a good time. And Anna Kendrick is standing there. She's got her arm crossed in front of her, holding the mic, looking down, can't even hardly make herself look at Blake. At one time, Blake said something about how much she loved filming over in Capri, Italy, about the ice cream served with lemons and the hats, and she's laughing and being silly. And Anna sees the audience laugh, so she kind of laughs at the audience and looks at Blake like, I wish I was anywhere else but here right now. Why do I have to be here? I hate being here so much. So it's really interesting. And I feel bad for Anna Kendrick. She also, I don't know if you saw this, I think she was at some award show, the BAFTAs or something over in England. And she was charged with giving the award for Best Director. And she got up and she just went on and on about how important and respected and revered that directors are, which could have been taken as a little side dig at Blake for going after It Ends With Us director Justin Baldoni. I don't know. But it's been very interesting to watch play out. I don't know how much, honestly, I think it's going to settle before we hit summer. That's just my opinion. I don't know anything, but I think it's just gone so bad. And if this really affects the Simple Favor, another Simple Favor, if it affects it really badly, Blake might just call uncle and say, get me out of this. I don't care what you have to say, what you have to do. Let me save as much face as possible. But Blake's going to have to write Justin a pretty big check, I think, to make up for his pain and suffering, because he did go through a lot. That was a lot of anguish that he had to go through, because he was the little guy. And I think that's why so many people, including like Candace Owens, love her or hate her, whatever you feel about Candace Owens, she felt really bad for this little guy being pounced on by Blake and Ryan. So she has been championing his cause. And if you want to really get some in-depth, way more educated and informed opinions about this, you can go listen to her podcast, as well as so many others. But I just wanted to talk about it as much as I can since Alan's not here. But I'm sure he won't go back and listen to this, especially when I tell him what it was about. He'd be like, nah, I'll just catch you on the next podcast. But real quick, what else is going on? Nothing much really. Emma Kellie, she had a horse clinic this weekend. This lady that comes in with her horse Duke. It was 3 days, very intensive, where I would watch and the lady would say, stiffen this muscle, do this, lift your hand, do this. And I can't see anything. And the woman's like saying, perfect, you're doing so great. It's all about technique. And she was just praising Emma Kellie about how well she did. So I was really proud of her. But that's her last horse clinic before she goes off to college. And I got a little misty eyed when the instructor was saying, we're going to miss you. And we hope you make lots of good friends and you have a wonderful time. But yeah, Emma Kellie's time as a senior, man, in just a couple months, we're going to be throwing her graduation party. Another week or two after that, she's going to be graduating. I've been in contact with her roommate's mother, and she's going to come down. They live in Waco, and she's going to be coming into Plano, and she and her daughter, and I've invited them to stay. Oh, honey, Alan, if you're listening to this podcast, I've invited them to stay in our guest room. Okay, I'll get with you on details of that later. But they're going to come in and we're going to go shopping for dorm room stuff. So that's going to be really fun. I told Emma Kellie, you got to start making your Amazon wish list, because so many people are going to want to be giving you gifts. And I know with my friends, I like giving money for college. I love that too, but I love giving tangible things. So she's going to be making an Amazon wish list. I'm very excited about that, because I almost want to go make it with her, because it's almost like registering for a wedding or a baby shower, right? Registering for a dorm room. That we didn't do that. I never did that when I went to college. It was just, it wasn't that big of a deal. But now you've got to like compete with all the other dorm rooms on Instagram and try to make it real nice and fluffy. So she's got their theme is pink navy, and cream. That's what we're going for. Pink, navy, and cream. So we've got a whole mood board that we're shopping by. It's really been a lot of fun. And for her graduation party, I'm doing all Arkansas theme. Like I ordered on Etsy. I got some like cupcake toppers, and I got a streamer, and a friend of mine whose daughter also went to Arkansas, she's going to give me one of the signs she used for her graduation party. I ordered, believe it or not, I found a stuffed Razorback hog online, a big, it's the size of a pillow. I ordered that. I'm going to use that for decoration. I'm thinking about doing a balloon wall or something, but man, those things are so expensive. It's so expensive. It's crazy. I know a lot of people go to Party City. Isn't that bankrupt? I don't know what's going on with Party City, but they, buy them and blow them up and do the arches themselves. I'm like, man, y'all, hats off to y'all. High five. I don't know if I can do that. I might just have to cut that check or do something, but we need something. She wants something to stand in front of for photos. It's got to be a good backdrop for photos. So I'm looking into that now. Anyway, she said she's going to be happy with Chick-fil-A. I was real happy to hear that, because that's not going to, I'll just put some Chick-fil-A. I'll do a Chick-fil-A tower of sandwiches and some nuggies and call it a day, and some cupcakes. That'll be fun. Yeah. So that's what we're looking forward to. It's going to be a busy next couple of months getting her out of high school and getting her ready for college. Y'all pray for me. I need those prayers, because I have been in a funk this year. She's got senioritis. It's hard enough to get her out of bed to go to school. It's hard to get me out of bed without being in a funk, because I don't know. It's just a heavy cloud on me. It's been weighing on my heart. So I really ask for y'all's prayers. I'm not even being silly about that. I'm serious. I need people lifting me up, because I am emotionally not good. Not good. My spirit's down. It's really hard. But we don't need to get into that. I don't want to end on that note, except I really do ask for your prayers, and I covet those if you would be so kind as to send them my way. Anyway, I love you all. And as Alan, let's see, he says, okay, babe, you got anything else? Nope, I'm good. All right, well, I love you desperately. I love you. I love y'all. He says, I love y'all. I love y'all too. I forget what else he says after that. Oh, in the immortal words of the great Keanu Reeves, life is good when you have a good sandwich. Bye.